everybody over at YouTube. Hey, everybody over at LinkedIn. Hey, everybody over at Twitter. And where else? Facebook, on my Facebook page. Hi, everybody. Hello, 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 beautiful people. So if you're watching me on Instagram Live, hold on. You know what? Let me put this in here right here. Let me put this in here right quick. Y'all know I always forget to do this. Hey, YouTube. Hey, YouTube. Hey, LinkedIn. Hello, Facebook. Okay. Somebody told me I could do TikTok too, but I got to figure out how to do it. I got to give me some millennials to help me figure that out. Hold on, Worth.tv. You guys, we got such a big week. We've got such a big week. Hello, it's King's World. Hello, hello. WorthTV.com and Worth.tv is the YouTube. I'm just tagging these right now. Y'all, we got a good conversation tonight. Make sure you share this video. If you're looking at this broadcast from Instagram, make sure you share it with your friends on Instagram. And if you're looking at this broadcast on YouTube, then please make sure you share on YouTube as well, you guys. So come on over to YouTube. If you come over to my YouTube channel, then make sure that you like, you share, and you subscribe. So first of all, cheers to the freaking weekend. Cheers to the weekend, y'all. Cheers to the weekend. I like the cheap stuff. I'm drinking, I'm sorry, not the cheap stuff. I like the, how would you refer to cheap wine? Cheap wine. I like the cheap wine. This is gold medal winning though. This is, now that I done said it is cheap, I don't even want to say the name of the wine because I feel like that would be disrespectful. But I'm having a glass of Riesling. It is my favorite, and I'm drinking it out of my cool soror cup. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can y'all see that on YouTube? You can probably see it on YouTube a little better. You guys, on YouTube, you can see the fullness of our whole set. You get a chance to hear the audioing from the right mic. Let me make sure the right mic is on. Y'all, YouTube, tell me, is my mic micing over here on the YouTube streets? And make sure you guys share. Please make sure you share. Ugh, why am I holding that glass like that? Please make sure you guys share. I would really, 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 really appreciate it. So welcome you guys to Nights with Nicci. I haven't done one of these in a very long time. And, you know, I felt compelled to get out in these YouTube and Instagram streets and speak to the people because it's really interesting. I was talking to my girlfriend, one of my best friends, right? And I was telling her how, you know, sometimes she said, girl, I got on one of your lives. And she's not one of those social media people, y'all. She's very, you know, not in these, most of my like really, you know, super close, like every day I'm talking to them people are not on social media. Let me get my mic right. Mic sounds nice. Check one. They're not on social media. So this particular friend, who is one of my best friends in the world, we've been friends forever, and she said to me, girl, you know, I'm not on those social media things or whatever. She was like, but I just thought it was really crazy because, you know, I see that you have like 200,000 followers. Like you got a whole bunch of people following you, and like on your live the other day, there was like 6 or 7 people. She's like, so like, you know, is what you're saying like reaching people? Like, you know, she's like, I just find it weird. I look up and I see that you got like 190,000 followers on Instagram. And it's like, girl, and she said, and I heard you talking about it and ranting about it. And I was like, well, you know, and I love getting a perspective from somebody who's not in the entertainment industry. This is the BFF that I got we got not stranded in Miami. We got flooded out in Miami. So we weren't able to really participate in ABFF the way we wanted to. She lives in Los Angeles, and she's one of the most amazing human beings on the face of the earth. So she was just telling me, you know, she's like, I was on your live, and I'm like, you know, she's got a lot of followers, but it doesn't seem to be reaching that many people. So I explained to her that it reminded me of a story, and I wanted to share this story with all of you because I think that it is something that we can all learn from this. Many of you, you know, may know in, 2004, 2005, I played the role of Vera Brown in Tyler Perry's play, Meet the Browns. Shout out to Tyler and all the cast over at Meet the Browns, David and Tamala Mann. David, you shot, played my brother or whatever, right? So I'm over there. Before I get on the show, I do a show called Will a Real Man Please Stand Up, right? Will a Real Man Please Stand Up was a play, really good play actually. And Monifa was a part of that play, and Dee Dee McKinney, who went on to do a lot of work with Tyler Perry as well. In fact, was discovered in that play with me. My girlfriend Kim Sky, so we were doing this play, and needless to say, when you're a playwright that's just kind of getting started, sometimes them seats don't be selling like that. Sometimes you look out in the audience and there are 3 or 4 people out there, and that is what happened in this case. So I know it's like, what does this have to do with your 5 followers watching you on Instagram Live? I'm about to tell y'all. So I very specifically remember we were in Dothan, Alabama, and we were doing Will a Real Man Please Stand Up. And I remember the producer came, and the producer said, listen, I have to be honest with y'all. And I can always appreciate this. Like, if you're a promoter or you're a producer and you're doing things out here in these entertainment industry streets, and you come up a little short, I appreciate people who come and let the talent know and give us a choice. And don't tell us after we get off stage, which is part of the reason why so many people, when they show up, if they don't have that other half, they be like, I'm on the next flight. But anyway, digress. This particular time, the promoter came to us and he said, listen, I know that, this is like a 2,000, I think maybe it was a 2,500 seat venue. And there were literally like maybe 30 people in the audience, right? So if you think about it from that perspective, this really big space, 30 people in the audience, but one of those 30 people in that audience at that play, that I made the decision. Oh, that's the part I left out. So he basically gave us a choice. He was like, I'm not going to be able to pay you what I told you I was going to be able to pay you, because as you can see here, we don't have any tickets. So you can either not go on stage or you can go on stage. And I would rather you go on stage because we're here, and the 30 people that are here watching us and paid their money deserve just as much a show as if it was hundreds of thousands, or 2,000 in the case that we had hoped. So some of us made the decision, I think most of us made the decision to go on ahead and do the play. Monifa did it, Dee Dee did it, I did it. And of those 30 people who were out there in that audience, one of those 30 people was the one and only Tyler Perry. And Tyler Perry picked me, Dee Dee, Kim, and somebody else that's how I got in Meet the Browns. That's how I got the role of Vera Brown in Meet the Browns, because even though there were only a few people in the audience, like there are only a few people on my live on YouTube and there are only a few people on my live on Instagram, I still gave my best. I still spoke, or I'm sorry, in this case, I'm speaking from my heart, but in that case, I performed my ass off and did not half-ass, because there were only 30 people in a 2,000 seat venue. And I got a job working with Tyler Perry that changed my life. So I say all that to say, when you guys are out here in these social media streets, these YouTube streets, these Instagram and Twitter streets, and you're, wondering whether or not your message is reaching the people, you're wondering whether or not your message is resonating with folks. This mic is giving me a lot of headache right now. Rest assured that all it takes is the impact that you have on one person to positively impact not only their lives, but to also positively impact yours. So shout out to the 7 to 10 people that come and listen to me speak from my heart about issues that affect and impact me as a creative and as a grandma and as a wife and as a human being. And, I really appreciate the eyes and the ears that are on this. So let's do a little Q&A, and then after we do this Q&A, I'm going to plug a couple of things that are really, matter of fact, before we get into the Q&A, I have to plug something real quick. Now, see, if you're on my Instagram, then you're probably not going to be able to see what I'm plugging, but you've probably already seen it on my Instagram before. So again, the moral of the story is perform for the 1, 2, or 3 people in the audience the same way you would for the 10, 20, or 30,000. So thank y'all for being in here tonight. I'm not going to complain but we know what's going on though. We know what's going on. We know the UDA, the owners of the algorithm, have decided that for whatever reason, they don't want the message to get to the people. But guess what? Just like when I was on that live the other day and my sister Monique showed up and supported me and showed me love. It only needs to reach one. So, okay, let's get into this quick moment I have to share, and then I'll get into some questions and some answers early on. Hey, Sora, I see you, Miss Shanti 1922. Y'all make sure that y'all share this live. Thank you for all you do for our community and even me. Your authenticity is to be valued. Thank you so much, you guys. Like I said, each one, teach one, touch one, and that's my sorority sister in the Greater Women of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. So, we are just really lucky to have one another and to inspire each other. So thank you, Sean. I see you, LB Productions, on here as well. Thank you for showing up for your girls. So, guys, I'm going to show and share. You guys will be able to hear it. Y'all have seen it on Instagram already. I am participating. I'm very excited to be participating in a 5K in Detroit at Belle Isle with my sister, Debbie, who is my shero. She is one of my favorite human beings on the face of the earth. She is someone who has inspired me in every area of my life. She's one of those people who's not on social media, who would be like, "This you always on live and YouTube and there be 5 people on there." And I'm like, but that's because them people be blocking all this good information I be giving, but I will give it. So my sister, I'm gonna read something to you guys. Oh, I'm gonna share this with y'all. I'm gonna read it. I don't even think I did a screenshot, but I'm gonna share this first because it is such a praise report. You guys hear me, and then I'm gonna get into a deep dive of the charts that I posted yesterday. And I'm going to share something with you guys that I haven't shared with you. That's actually some really, 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 really good information about my case with Lionsgate, Katori Hall, and P Valley. Hold on, you guys. I got to do something real quick, fast, and in a hurry. Hold on. Y'all bear with me for a minute. I hope I do not lose my connection. All right. I hope I'm still up on YouTube, guys. Okay. I think I am. Hold on. I got to read this to y'all. I'm so geeked. This is just such good news. And I got to give you a little praise report before we get into the messy shit. I got to give you a praise report. Hold on. You guys, I still don't do the whole sharing of my screen, which would be so much easier. So some of you may know, some of you may not. My baby sister, Deborah Gardner, who's one of my favorite human beings in the world, was diagnosed with a tumor, and the tumor is called glioblastoma, right? It is a very serious, rare form of brain cancer. Joe Biden's son, had it. If you are in Atlanta, you know that there is a sister by the name of Javita Moore, who unfortunately was diagnosed with a glioma. And I believe, if I understand correctly, because, discussing people medical stuff, I don't know all the details. But yeah, I assume I heard that's what it was. And then also John McCain. So it is really rare in women of color. It's especially rare in Black women. So I'm going to share a little story with you guys about, when I found out that my sister had this brain tumor. And she's so low key and so laid back. It's crazy. Like, I got half of my siblings. I have a lot. I have quite a number of siblings in this world, and I love them all dearly. And we are all very, 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 very different. Thank you, King's World. Thank you for your prayers and your, lifting us, because I know that is what you mean. But I have different siblings, and we all have different personalities. And Debbie is the very laid back sibling, right? So she had been telling me that she had been having headaches for a while, but it was like, you just think, she's like, having headaches, no big deal. So my sister just casually kind of sent me a text message, and she was just like, yo, so I have I went to the doctor, they did a MRI, and I have a brain tumor. And it's deep, and they don't think they can operate, and they don't know what it is. And, I was just like, hold up, wait up, swell up. What we doing? Who we fighting? What, it's my baby sister. What the? And it was like right during the midst of, well, I'm still in the midst. I've been in the midst for 4 years, but it was during while all this stuff is happening. So that made it especially hard for me to chew it up and digest it. I was enraged. Like, this shit is not happening again, Lord. But anyway, the other thing that it did was it immediately, I'm one of those people who, don't you hate when people like, I wanted up people who, I don't mean it like that, but I tend to really be calm and kind of think things through in like really crazy situations. Is weird. I think there are people who just kind of switch to that gear and start thinking about solutions, because I just feel like we ain't got time to cry right now. We gonna cry, we gonna ugly cry, we gonna get through it, but we ain't got time to cry right now. So I started immediately doing research and trying to figure out what it was. And then when she told me that the doctors told her that they believed that it was a glioma, and then all you gotta do is look up the word glioma, and it was the most sobering shit you will ever read in your life. And I was like, nah, hell no. Hell no, nope, it don't make sense. Something else, we don't know what it is. And then there was some like other things that were going on that, whatever. So needless to say, after several opinions from several doctors, we faced the inevitable, which is that my sister at 49 years old is dealing with, messed that up. She is dealing with a very serious, aggressive form of brain cancer that there is no cure for. So, my mama raised G's, right? It just is what it is. We don't shy away from much. She was just like, it is what it is. We gonna get through it. We not gonna cry for 5,000 hours. You got some time to cry, but you're going to suck it up. We're going to get it together. So I immediately go to research. As I'm researching, I'm sending stuff to my brother-in-law. He's like, look, I'm trying to process that. My wife just got diagnosed with a tumor, which stuff, blah, blah, blah. But I tend to be go gadget. So I researched and I discovered that there was something that they had. And I'm getting to the praise report in this story, right? Because I want to give you all the good stuff before I get into the messy shit, like I said. So, I'm Googling and I'm researching, and I read that there is a procedure that is called LIT. It is an ablation, and they can go in with a laser. And in some instances, not in every situation, but in some instances, they can go in with a laser and they can blast out tumors that are too deep for a surgeon to operate. So needless to say, I immediately got on the plane, went to Detroit. My sister was checking out of the hospital. They were giving her all of her, and this is I want y'all to listen to me and pay attention. We're going to get into the juicy gossip of it all, but this is a very important thing for you guys to listen to. Matter of fact, I'm not even going to take a sip of wine. I'm going to take some water because this is serious. So this is about advocacy for any member of your family. I remember when my mom was ill, they thought that she had cancer that had metastasized or whatever. And I just remember standing there with the doctors and they're like, well, it could be metastasis. And I'm just like, huh? Like, huh? And then, doctors have to just tell you like it is. They ain't got time to be all dramatic like my big dramatic ass. They gonna just say, ma'am, this is what you got. This is what we need to do to fix it. So the woman came in from the department that does radiation and chemotherapy, and they were like giving my sister her discharge orders. This is where we pay attention, right? So they're giving my sister her discharge orders, and my sister's kind of just still kind of out of it because she just kind of like, they just told me I got brain cancer that there's no cure for, right? And I hope she's okay with me. I think she's okay with me. We talked about this and whatever. Plus, she ain't on this internet like that anyway. So I love you, Deb. I love you, Debbie. So she said, the lady said, okay, these are your discharge instructions. We're going to start chemo and radiation like immediately. You need to you already have an appointment. You need to go in and see the people. And then I was like, well, hold on. Well, just a second. Like I was reading about this thing called LIT. And the lady was like, and this is no disrespect to our medical professionals because, this is new medicine. And I'm about to tell y'all about it. We about to go deep with this shit. So this is no disrespect to our medical professionals, but she didn't know what it was. And she was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of it. And I was like, well, it's a thing called lit and it's this laser and whatever. She was just like, don't know what you're talking about. So as she's talking to my sister, giving her all the details about her chemo and radiation, and I remember reading that if you start chemo or radiation, this is where y'all listen. If you start chemo and radiation, then, and I'm not a doctor, so when I say y'all listen, I don't mean listen as if I'm giving you medical advice. I mean listen as if I'm talking from what our experience was and what worked for my sister. So when you are when you start chemo and radiation, you can't then go in and do this procedure, this laser. You have to do the laser first and then do the chemo and radiation after that, right? But because it was sitting so deep in my sister's brain, they said we got to immediately start because, of course, there was the pressure and the headaches and all that other stuff, and she had to have steroids and all that stuff, right? So I'm texting my brother-in-law, and I'm like, bro, listen, we need to figure out something. We got to make another appointment somewhere else. I found a doctor, at Henry Ford. No shade to the other hospital, which I won't mention. I found a doctor at Henry Ford that, is supposed to be a really, really good brain surgeon, and maybe he can refer us. This is God, y'all. This is God. Because let me just keep it real with you. If you know anything about glioma, prognosis is the prognosis, right? And it's vicious and fast and terrible and awful, right? So this whole thing is a lot. So I text my brother-in-law, like, we got to find her another hospital. I mean, we have to get her to Henry Ford. I called some of my friends. Shout outs to Christine Beatty and to Gail Perry Mason and to Kiko Davis and to all those powerful, amazing women in Detroit that were like, no, let me go on ahead and like just connected and just have my back through so much. Ooh, that makes me emotional. Like, I got good people in my life, and I'm grateful for that. So they arranged for us to get this thing with this really incredible brain surgeon, right? One of the best in the business. And we went. I flew back to Detroit. My sister and I went to her appointment with the brain surgeon, and he's one of the best. And he was like, listen, I'm looking at this. There's nothing I can do. Like, I can't operate. It just, the size and where it's located is just not, so we're just like, okay. And then, my brother and I are like, okay, well, have you heard of LIT? Have you heard of this LITT thing, this ablation? And he was like, you know what? As a matter of fact, I have. He's like, as a matter of fact, there is a doctor here who I believe might be here today. I'm gonna make a phone call while we're sitting in his office, y'all. This is God, and this is advocacy, and this is speaking up, and this is asking about experimental therapies and all that other stuff. He called the guy. The guy was leaving, but he said, I'll stick around if you send him over now. So we walked across from the Henry Ford Hospital to the Henry Ford Cancer Pavilion, which is a new thing, which I'm about to tell y'all briefly. I'm about to read this in a minute. I just got to give y'all the whole story because it's beautiful. We walked over there and we met with the doctor. And I'm going to keep my sister's privacy and not name her doctors. But the doctor sat down with us that very same day. He was about to leave. He was like, no, I'll stick around, whatever. So we met with him and he was like, you know what? He looked at her scans and he said, I think I can get some of that out of there. And we were like, he was like, no, I think I can get some of this tumor out of here. How about next week? We were like, what? So this doctor put my sister on the schedule for the following week to have the procedure that two other very good doctors, brain doctors, did not know about. Or maybe they just weren't as familiar with. So my sister went in. He said, I can't make any promises, but he was like, even if we get 5%, even if we get 10%, we can still get as much of the tumor out as we can get. And then if, the rest of it you can get through chemo and radiation, whatever. So we're like, okay, we'll take 5%, we'll take 10%. Baby, we went the next week, went to the hospital. My sister had brain surgery. My sister's surgery took some time, so we were, of course, very worried. Everybody was already traumatized and tripping like, oh, my God, trying not to read the prognosis for glioma because it will totally mess your head up. My sister came out of that surgery with 85% of the tumor removed from her head. From a doctor wanting to only use radiation and chemotherapy, which would have took, I don't know how long, they went in with this LIT that we did the research and tried to figure out about, and they got 85% of the tumor out of her head. Now, let's be clear. We know gliomas grow really quickly. They're aggressive and they come back real fast, right? Right? But check this out right here, honey. The other thing we researched was something called Optune, an Optune cap, an Optune helmet. I wish I could, for you guys watching me on YouTube, I wish I could show you a picture of it. But the Optune helmet is a device that she wears. It's like a backpack with like a battery thing, and then it's got these things with the prongs, and it delivers currents to her brain to stop the tumor from aggressively growing so quickly. So after my sister gets this 85% out, she immediately starts her chemo and radiation, and her tumor has been shrinking little by little every single month. Little by little by little, it's been shrinking. So we know we don't know what we're dealing with because my sister's defying all kinds of odds. Because right now, it was September of last year she found out about it, or October of last year she found out about it. And now we're coming up on October again, and she's just such a fighter. And the night of her brain surgery, y'all, listen, I BS you not. My sister was in the bath. I came in her room and she was in the bathroom, like gelling her hair, like fixing. I'm like, bitch, are you crazy? Like she is fixing her hair. She's getting fly. I'm like, what are you doing? She's just like, no, I'm fine. I'm just, processing everything. I'm like, you just had a laser inside your brain cutting out a tumor and you're just, and the next morning, my sister was at home, at the crib, with no craziness. They told us to expect all of this stuff. My mama was taking care of her baby. So I want to read this to y'all. I almost don't even want to go into this other stuff I'm going to go into, but I'm going to go into it anyway because this is so beautimous. So this is an op-ed, and this op-ed is dated 8/14/2024. Hello. And I just want to share this because I'm so geeked up. Henry Ford Health. This op-ed says why the next healthcare breakthrough will come from Detroit. Expert, what you think? You think the judge gonna throw out this expert? No, I'm just playing. Okay, see, that was messy, and I shouldn't even said that. But y'all know I got a sense of humor. Stephen, the doctor of Henry Ford Medical Group, Executive Vice President, Chief Academic Officer of Henry Ford Health, and CEO of Henry Ford Hospital. He says, back in 2017, having spent over 2 decades as a neurosurgeon and now leading Henry Ford Medical Group, Henry Ford Hospital, and our organization's academic mission, I've experienced firsthand the elements that make this a reality. Back in 2017, from my office on the 11th floor of Henry Ford Hospital, I often gazed across West Grand Boulevard. This is all in Detroit, you guys. I've often gazed across West Grand Boulevard at what was an empty lot. I envisioned that patch of land transforming into a bustling center of hope and healing. Today, the Bridget Harris Cancer Pavilion stands on that spot. Even more than a visual representation of Detroit's growth, it's a sanctuary where those on a cancer journey find the comprehensive care and compassion they need. This where it get good. This vision of transformation is mirrored in the stories of patients like 49-year-old Deborah Gilbert diagnosed with glioblastoma, brain tumor. After enduring months of unexplained headaches, her life was turned upside down. For Deborah, the weight of this news felt overwhelming, the uncertainty, the fear. But that's when she turned to Henry Ford Health, undergoing a procedure by doctor at Henry Ford Hospital called laser interstitial thermal therapy, LIT. Deborah found new hope to push forward and onward. That's when she turned. Okay. Our team's innovative approach to LIT, developed through bench-to-bedside research, has made it possible to remove tumors previously deemed inoperable. Today, Deborah is working with Dr. Such and Such and her dedicated care team, finding more strength every day on her healing journey. So, guys, praise you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Thank you, Henry Ford. Please, if somebody in your life, and I just recently found out somebody close to me has another relative who has lung cancer that is metastasized and spread to her brain. So guys, listen, research, do your due diligence, try to find alternatives. Another thing is I take a supplement that I've been taking for a very long time. It is a very great, awesome supplement. I'm not going to tell y'all what the name of it is because it appears that this supplement which her doctors approved her taking, has actually been making her feel a whole lot better, because she still like lost some of her sight, and like, there's side effects. So I'm not gonna put all her stuff out there, but she's not she's living with glioblastoma. My sister is living with one of the most, I ain't even gonna say the word, forms of brain cancer that exists. So with that being said, I'm gonna share with my folks over on YouTube, and then we gonna get into the gossipy, juicy stuff. I'm gonna share with my friends over on YouTube, and you guys can listen because y'all probably already heard it. I'm participating in a 5K run walk at Belle Isle in Detroit. It is for an organization called Head for a Cure for Brain Cancer. We've already raised about $600. It was $500 initially. We thought it was going to be $500, but we have upped our ante to $2,000 because as caregivers for people who have cancer and brain cancer, head cancer in particular, it is a journey. It is not easy for the patient, and for caregivers as well. So shout out to everybody who is loving someone who is facing, any kind of health issue. And if you're in Detroit on September 8th, then come and join us in our fabulous 5K Head for a Cure. So if you on YouTube, take a look at my little promo. It's only a few seconds. And if you on Instagram, just what's up, beautiful people. So thank y'all from the bottom of our hearts for getting us past the $500 mark. We have raised it to $2,000 in the fight against glioblastoma. That's my beautiful sister, Debbie, who is bravely fighting this incurable brain cancer. But we are heading for a cure. Every dollar raised goes to Head for a Cure. Come and join us September 8th at Belle Isle. And if you can't make it, you can still donate. Link in bio. Hey, 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 hey. So you guys, the link is in my bio. It is in my link tree. It is also on my Facebook page. Hey, Yvette, I see you. Hey, Share My Love. Hey, Erica Patterson. Hey, everyone on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, of course. So first of all, I forgot to say this. Thank you to everyone who contributed to our 5K. Even if you can't come to Detroit and participate at Belle Isle, you can still donate what you can. Every dollar goes towards Head for a Cure, and we are trying to raise funds and awareness to brain cancer. So guys, we in here. Let's just switch gears real quick and get into, before we switch gears, hold on. I got another something that I got to plug. Brownstone has a bunch of shows coming up, y'all. Hold on. I don't know where that thing is. Brownstone has a bunch of shows coming up. Please go to brownstoneofficial.com. We are about to be in Vegas very soon, so come and hang out and spend some time with us in Vegas, baby. We would absolutely love to see you in the City of Sin or Sin City or whatever it's called. So guys, let's get on into this other stuff. Thank you, Real J Power. Thank you, Soror. Thank you. Yes, Detroit. My sister is from Detroit. The walk is in Detroit. It's over at Belle Isle, as we say, Belle Isle. You guys, I'm going to get into this chart, and we'll switch gears and get into some real conversations about P-Valley. Some real conversations about this litigation that I have with Lionsgate and Starz. And I want to share some stuff with you guys that I probably have not shared in a while. Yes, I'll see you guys in Chicago. Yes, Chicago. Thank you, Sora. Thank you. Vegas 8:30, Chicago 9:13, Maryland 9:14, and so on and so on and so on. All right, so let's reset the room a little bit. I can take a sip or two. A sip or two. Ladies and gentlemen, I know many of you have probably wondered why every single time your girl gets on her live, there is a conversation about this litigation. And that is because we live now in a time where people's attention spans are very short. And although I know that you guys are awesome and you guys follow what I do, and you probably hear every time I say it, many of you, there are always new people coming into the chat. There are new people being brought into the conversation. And what's really interesting is that I had one of my sisters was like, damn, I looked at that chart you posted. I mean, I looked at the video, but I looked at the chart. And I was like, what's going on here? So to give you guys some backstory, yes, we are talking about intellectual property. Thank you, Soroshan. Thank you so much. We're talking about intellectual property and the importance of protecting it in our community, right? You guys have heard me say a lot of times how Tyler Perry has been able to build and amass a ton of wealth. Say what you want to say about, the content, the stories, right? The truth is, the man has been able to really do something that I don't think anybody else has been able to do to date. I think that Tyler Perry broke the mold and nobody has come along since. I mean, you have Byron Allen, and even Byron Allen ended up having to sue, right? You have Oprah Winfrey, who has OWN, right? But I think we get into the idea that because you see people on TV, because you hear that somebody got a deal with a network, because you see that somebody, is at a red carpet event, that they killing it and they doing the damn thing and they got it made, right? It's interesting. I was talking to a friend of mine and she was just like, girl, like, I just read where 50 Cent got a deal with Lionsgate for his own TV channel. And it's crazy because, baby, listen, 50 Cent let their ass have it all the time. But it's different when men challenge other men. There's a lot more respect put on their name when men stand up for themselves and for their rights. And, we've all seen, like 50 goes in on folks. He lets them have it. He is very the direct confrontation guy. It just is how it goes. And it's worked for him because, hey, Lionsgate, instead of like suing him for legal fees, they gave him a whole network. You know what I mean? So I understand what it means for me as a Black woman to have the audacity to stand up for myself. I understand what it means when you live and work in a community where people believe that because someone is on TV or because someone's on a red carpet or at an award show, that they win it. And I am not going to participate in the farce. I'm not going to participate in the lie and the bullshit and the who shot John. I'm just not going to do it. There is no way to wealth. There's no way to real power. There's no way to real success in this industry that does not include ownership. When we watched Maxine's Baby on Netflix, Tyler Perry made it very clear that when he went in and he spoke to the executives at Lionsgate, he demanded ownership of his intellectual property in order to do the deal that he did. And he demanded ownership of his intellectual property because he understood the value long term of what that meant for his family for many, many, many generations, right? So I've been offered a lot of opportunities to partner. Not even partner. I've been offered a lot of opportunities to be hired by people to do things, right? I have been offered a lot of opportunities to have jobs, right? Because, everybody wants to work and everybody, what up, Sora? I see you, Latavia. Ooh, baby. Shh. I see you, boo. I love me some Latavia, baby. Listen, I love me all my sorors. I love Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Shout out to Latavia and the whole entire life. Listen, see, now y'all got me deviated. Listen, let me not be distracted. So let me say this. I thought when I created R&B Divas that I was doing something. You know what I'm saying? Faith and I both thought we was doing something. We thought we was going to be, like at least respected as the people who brought this amazing property to these producers and to this network. And nothing could be further from the truth. We had no power. We had zero power. In fact, all of the power was leveraged against us to remove us from that intellectual property so that the culturally incompetent white male lens that was in power could do whatever they wanted to do. Now, what we learned in that situation is that, like I've said many times before, you can't take the heart and the soul out of a thing and expect for it to continue to thrive, expect for it to continue to live. It just, things that live and connect with people and resonate with people need a heartbeat. They need a soul. They need a rhythm. They need a cadence in order to be real, right? And when they took that out of the R&B Divas franchise, it destroyed the franchise. It made it go away. And it's sad because it was such a great platform for so many really talented women to share our stories. It was such a great place for us to be able to rebuild our brands and to build businesses and, reconnect with our audiences. And unfortunately, because of greed and cultural incompetence, the franchise was ruined. And it's interesting because my grandma told me I was special. All our grandmamas told us that we were special when we was little. If you had a good grandma, she told you special. Because I tell my braid he's special every day. I be like, you so special. Tell your babies they special. They need to hear it. When they get grown, whatever. But when they babies, tell them. So my grandmother always shared that I had a really intuitive spirit and that, and it would just be me and her, like me sitting, she had a snuff can on the side of the thing. And she'd be like, and I remember her telling me the little dots, little calcium deposits meant somebody like me and all kind of stuff. But she said, you special, you real special. And I'm like, well, thank you, Grandma. I really appreciate that. And I'm really starting to understand what she means by that, because the one thing that I do very, very well is read people. I'm a really good vibe catcher. Even if I don't react to it right away, I know when it's time for me to move away or to move on from something. And I knew it was time for me to move on from R&B Divas. Faith moved on. We all moved on. And I knew that by moving on from the franchise and letting it go, there's this old saying, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours forever. I knew by moving on from it and letting it go and getting rid of my ego. Ooh, Tavi, we gonna talk all about it, Latavia. Talk all about it, baby. Don't get these people too much. We gonna say this a hot mess. Shout out if you're on YouTube. I see y'all on there, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Would you guys please hit subscribe and like and share? And Instagram, when they boot you off, because they're gonna throw you off this mug, please come back and make sure you share this video. But so needless to say, I knew that at some point when God said so, that the franchise would be coming back. So R&B Divas is going to come back. R&B Divas is coming back. I cannot tell you who it's coming back with because I'm still having conversations with the women. I can tell you that every woman who was a part of R&B Divas is absolutely welcome. Every single solitary, not one of them is not welcome. Every single one of them is welcome. I can tell you that we're not going to be a part of, manipulation anymore. Like, that's just not going to happen. We're just not going to allow it. And I'm grateful that I have a trademark that says that I have the power to share this incredible property, because it don't mean nothing if it's just me holding on to it, right? This R&B Divas thing was created by the starting lineup, the starting five in ATL: Nicci, Faith, Selena, Kiki, Monifa, and then Angie and Latavia and Latasha and all of the women. So I feel like we've grown and we've evolved, and we're going to give you guys something really, really special sooner rather than later. I don't want to get out here and really put too much out there because we're still working through logistics and reaching out to people and whatever. But my spirit and that intuition that my grandma told me when she said, move away from it. And then when she said it would come back to you. And actually, shout out to Maria Harper. I'm sorry. Maria Harper, one of the best wardrobe designers in the business. Ma Maria is what I call her. I met her working with Tyler Perry. She said, Nicci, you have to pick your baby up. You have to get your baby back. God told me you have to pick it. She's very, very spiritual. It's coming back. It's coming back. And when the opportunity came back for me to get R&B Diva's trademark, I was all over it. So there's that. And I have the same feeling that I had about R&B Divas for P-Valley, right? Because I created the character that everybody is all in love with, the non-binary, gender fluid owner of a club that is up for gentrification in a Las Vegas casino development. I created that character. The character was created as Auntie Burlesque. Auntie Burlesque. Tata means auntie, baby. Auntie. Look it up. I created that character. And one thing, let me read this to you guys. I'm going to read this and then I'm going to get into unpacking some things. I had to really come to terms with the reality that justice and winning or feeling like you've won may not always be the same, one and the same, right? Justice is centered around a lot of legal definitions and legal strategies and legal stuff, right? But feeling like you have won or overcome something that gave you a lot of anxiety and stress is a different feeling. And you don't always get that from a judge, unfortunately. In my case against Starz and Lionsgate and P-Valley and Katori Hall, I did not get that from my district judge. He looked at my case and he decided that it was not worth going forward, right? And he has that right as a judge. He's been a judge. He was appointed by Ronald Reagan. He's been a judge for many, 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 many years. Many, many years. He's been there, and I'm sure he's made really great rulings, and he's made rulings that people were not happy with. And there's nothing, it's interesting. I have to be conscious of the fact that there are people who love me that see stuff in social media and they be riding about it. My little nieces and nephews, and they're supporting me and they're like, find yourself another judge. Well, it's not that easy. We can't do that. We cannot just go shopping for the judge we like, because if that was the case, then there would be no justice nowhere in this country, because you just would be able to go and just be like, I don't like this decision in this judge. I'm going to go find me another one. It's not how it works. You cannot do that. And the other thing is, you cannot assume anything when you are going through a trial in court, in the judicial system, because what I learned is not as simple as your evidence. There are laws that have to be considered in every situation. And the way laws are established in any situation is based on precedents. The laws, the rulings before those rulings, those laws, right? So when my case first was in Georgia, my case was in the state of Georgia for over a year, right? Because I live in Georgia, Katori Hall lives in Georgia, the show tapes in Georgia. And quite honestly, if I'm 100% honest with you, I preferred my case being in Georgia because I understood the power base in Los Angeles. I'm not a fool. Not only did I understand the power base, having a case happen in LA while I live in Georgia and I'm an independent contractor and a creative is extremely expensive, So needless to say, I didn't have a choice in the matter. I did not have a choice because the defendants, Lionsgate and Starz and all those guys, they told the judge or asked the judge if he did not want to dismiss my case. With the judge in Atlanta did not dismiss my case. They wanted the judge to dismiss my case, saying that it was frivolous. The judge in Georgia did not dismiss my case. But he said, I'm going to move your case to Los Angeles. Now, it's really interesting. The judge said that he was going to move my case to Los Angeles because, for a lot of reasons, but one big reason that stood out for me. And all of this is information, by the way, guys. Those of you like, you talking about your case. I'm only sharing things that have been publicly filed. And when something is publicly filed, if you have a Pacer account, you can log on and you can read it and talk about it and educate people and share it and all that other stuff. And that is all that I'm doing here, right? But my case was transferred after about a year and some change. And before we even went to, bear with me if you've heard this story and it's redundant, because I'm about to get into some evidence and share some stuff with you guys. And I want to just, this is all a historical document we're creating here, right? So you think when you get into a case that, first of all, as I've said before, I did not want to go through a litigation with Katori Hall, Lionsgate, Starz, and P-Valley. I wanted to do everything in my power to avoid it because, contrary to what people think, I don't get off on drama and like beefing with people and whatever. I'm just a bitch that you just can't just do anything to and say anything to and just expect me to be like, oh, okay, it's fine, because it's not. Call it the Detroit in me, call it the grandma nana in me, call it the I just don't take shit from people in me. I will not let people abuse me. I will not let people disrespect me. I will not let people piss on me and tell me it's raining. And I don't care how mad it makes them that I defend myself. I'm going to do it because I'm a good person. I have a good heart. I've helped a lot of people and I don't deserve to be shat on. You understand? So, and I'm a cool soror, according to Rashawn. LB Production says they just want people to think you're that way because you certainly not. I love you and she works for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my husband loves me, honey, and we've been married and together for a long time, hitting 20, baby. My husband would not stay in no book, sugar, honey, iced tea, baby. That's the measure of what a good person is. Well, I guess that sounded kind of, but y'all know what I'm saying. If you got a good man that's stuck beside you. Because he knows I have a good heart and I'm a good woman. But let me get back to this. LB, you're supposed to make sure I'm staying focused. Did I bring my fan for my hot flashes? Oh, well. So I did not want to turn this whole situation into this litigation because I just don't like the idea of women of color publicly going at it. However, there's a fine line between wanting peace and knowing when it's time to stand your ground and stand up for yourself. And a lot of people mistake the two, right? They think when you are vocal and you speak your mind and you share what is in your heart, that you are difficult. That has been the story forever. You have to embrace it. I had to embrace it. I had to embrace that I had to either make a decision to stand up for myself, to stand up for my family and my intellectual property, no matter what people thought about me at the end of the day, or to retreat, to have some fake ass sense of support and love because I was being I was acquiescing to something that I did not agree with or support. So I talked to several attorneys. I made sure that I was not risking losing everything, like unfortunately the situation I'm in today, which we're going to get into, because they come in and collect it all. But I just really wanted to make sure that, or for the time being, they've gotten the go ahead to just start collecting shit. But we're going to talk about that too. I inquired. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't risking my family and my grandson's college education and our home. My husband's a military veteran. Thankfully, we were able to have a beautiful home that we've lived in, and unfortunately, because I made the decision to lean into my rights, the judge in my case said, and let me pull it up here. so that I am being very specific and reading what's on the paper. Hold on. So the judge in my case ruled in favor of the defendants. If you guys don't know, if you're just jumping on this live for the first time, the judge in the case ruled in favor of Lionsgate, Starz, and Katori Hall. And he ruled in favor of Lionsgate, Starz, and Katori Hall, citing that attorney fees, basically citing that there were not enough similarities. He, going through all of the comparisons and the chart that we're about to go through right now, he decided that he didn't see enough things in there that felt like I had a case for similarity. They have not been questioning or challenging access. He just said he didn't remember. And, you know, he didn't remember, but the lawyer who is friends with him, who referred me to him, the lawyer's assistant who made the appointment, the PR and management company that went to the meeting with me, and myself, we all remember. But he didn't remember me coming and leaving these materials on his desk. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember walking into his office. I remember sitting across from him. There was a table. Lynn was to the left of me. He was sitting with his back to the window, with his legs crossed. And I remember thinking, dang, he looks kind of cool. He got like a whole like Mel Gibson vibe. I like it. And I remember pitching my heart out. As Katori said, she pitched her heart out to the president. I pitched before Katori. And I left the materials. I brought 2 sets of everything because I was supposed to be meeting with 2 people. I was supposed to be meeting with John Feldheimer, and I was supposed to be meeting with John DeLaverson. I think that was his name. And I brought both of those, the DVD, the Soul Kids Cabaret script, curtains, which you guys are about to see now. You can see in some of the stuff. Thank you, Shay Watch. I support you too, sis. We're just having a little educational forum here. So anybody who writes a song or a book or anything will understand and know what they have to look forward to when they get out here in these streets. I know it happened to you, Shay. We got to talk about it. I know, and that's the reason why we're fighting so hard in this situation. But so I went and I sat down and I met with him, and I had a great conversation with him. He was a really nice, warm gentleman. He very specifically was like, what's his name? Tell me his name again. I was like, his name is Tata Burlesque. And I even quoted the line where he says, Tata Burlesque, Brandy. And he was like, oh, Tata, I love that, because Tata in French means auntie. Auntie Burlesque. French. Burlesque, cabaret, auntie, Tata, auntie. Like Uncle Clifford, auntie Burlesque. So I pitched it to him. He very specifically said to me, and if you're on Instagram, you guys might want to migrate over to YouTube. The link is in the bio, because I'm going to start going through these slides with a little bit of a fine-tooth comb. And this is part 1 of this deep dive that I'm doing. I think I'm going to do 3 parts, but this is part 1. And I also have a YouTube link for the comparison video if you guys want to see that as well. I'll leave it in the description box. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe if you're watching from YouTube. Hey, Safe Space with V. Terrell Hill. Hey, V. Terrell Hill. Hey, back. Hey, y'all. Hi, I'm sorry. I've been not manipulating. I've been ignoring my folks. Hi, Vincent. That's okay. That's okay. The case is not over. Don't be sorry about what's happening with the case, because, baby, guess what we finna do? We're going to oral hearing, a panel of 3 judges in the Ninth Circuit. And we are confident that the Ninth Circuit is going to give us the same courtesies that they have given the other cases that this judge has thrown out for the same reason. And yes, there have been multiple ones. No disrespect. That's just what's written. There's a couple recent cases with the judge, my judge made some decisions, and other judges have made decisions, and they've been overturned. Because the fact is, if there is the slightest, the way it's supposed to work is that if there is the slightest question of material fact, then it is supposed to be determined by a jury, a trier of fact, a jury is supposed to determine that. That's why we requested a jury trial. So even the slightest question of material fact, de minimis, right? We have 57. And the fact that we left the materials. So he said that he was going to go home. This is the CEO of Lionsgate. He said he was going to go home and read the script with his family, because he said he likes to read the script with his family on the weekends. Sometimes he shares ideas with his family. And he said that he would get back to me, or he would get back to my attorney, Leroy, at the time, who was his buddy, who he'd known for some years, him and John, the other John. So we left. And when I didn't hear back from him, and when I did not, my microphone is falling. My mic sounds nice. When I didn't hear back from him, okay, I think it's going to stay like that, you guys. I'm sorry. When I did not hear back from him, I just assumed that he wasn't interested, because you have meetings and stuff in Hollywood all the time. And if somebody not interested, ain't nothing you could do but just keep it moving. But I still kept developing Soul Kittens Cabaret. And at the time that I brought Soul Kittens Cabaret to the CEO of Lionsgate, we had already had the DVD out. The DVD had been out for since 2010. My meeting was like 13, I believe, 14. My copyright was from 2004. Copyrighted the story in 2004. The story I copyrighted had a casino in it when I copyrighted it. Had an LGBTQIA transgender non-binary host when I copyrighted it, and a girl with a little red suitcase, all the things from 2004. It didn't just happen all of a sudden after maybe I saw somebody else's idea and decided to incorporate it into mine. It was there from the beginning. So, met with CEO, left the materials, ignored it, did not think anything else of it. And then in 2020, during the pandemic, no, I'm sorry, let me say this. Prior to 2020, 2017, this is a very important bit of information with my Tyler Perry connection. One of the reasons why I pursued Lionsgate as a partner, right? And somebody asked me, well, why would you pursue Lionsgate after what they did to Monique? Shout out. If I had known what they did to Monique, I wouldn't have, flat out, because that's my sister. But what I was going was based on the fact that the same investor who invested in Tyler Perry's career, and to this day, you know, they still work together, and he, you know, promotes a lot of Tyler stuff or whatever. He is like a fairy godfather, you know, and somebody who has really been a positive influence in my life. And I met him when I was doing Meet the Browns with Tyler Perry. And when I wrote Soul Kittens Cabaret, because I was inspired to write my play because I was on the road with Tyler Perry. And I was like geeked up about, like, you know, like I said, if you guys are just joining this live earlier, I was saying, like, when you look on your live and there's only 5 or 10 people on there, it reminds me of the story of me doing a play where I met Tyler Perry, and there were only like 30 people in the audience of like a 2,000 seater. And Tyler was one of those people, and it changed my life. He selected me as Vera Brown, you shop, and everything was gravy from there. So it was like, you know, divine order, as my friend Gail says. So the person who financed Tyler, supported Tyler, who was a part of the deals that Tyler had at Lionsgate, right? Remember, Tyler said in Maxine's Baby that he went to Lionsgate and he demanded ownership of his intellectual property because he had already had someone invest in producing the content. Tyler like banked all of his TV shows and his plays and did all that stuff. I mean, I was there. I was in some of the plays that I was in were licensed to Lionsgate. So I understood very clearly and very well the formula from being a playwright to adapting your plays for television and film to partnering with a distributor like Starz and Lionsgate that was well versed in licensing content, not owning it. I'm negotiating a deal right now for another movie I wrote. It's a dope ass movie. It's coming soon. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but my lawyer and I have been on the phone negotiating back and forth about it. And they're like, well, this is the standard, and this is I don't do the standard. When I work with Tyler Perry, I understood instantly that ownership of your intellectual property is the only way that you're going to be able to build generational wealth and wellness long-term for your family. And Lionsgate was aware when I went into that meeting, because when I talked to my lawyer who knew the CEO of Lionsgate, who that's the reason that the CEO of Lionsgate took the meeting with me, is because he's like, hey, she's got investment from the same people who invested in Tyler Perry. They want to do the same thing that they did with Tyler. She has a play. They want to take the play, turn the play into a TV series. She's got a pilot written for it already. I had a deck that showed Soul Kids Cabaret venues in Vegas. I'd already been in conversations with folks about that. And he took the meeting. He took the pitch. And then I believe they took my show without me. And I believe they took my show without me because they saw how successful Tyler was, having owned the properties that he created that were plays to TV series to movies. And I feel like they saw it as an opportunity to go out and hire someone else to write my story. Because I question, I do not know for sure. I'm not putting any allegations on anybody, but I question whether or not Katori Hall has ownership of P-Valley. She didn't copyright it until 2017. I don't know how you had this play since 2000 and Methuselah, and you didn't copyright it until 2017. But I mean, that sounds a little irresponsible for somebody who's a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright. I can't prove it, but what I believe happened is I believe that after I went and pitched my story to Lionsgate and Starz about the gender fluid club owner of an erotic venue in Detroit that is a, staple in a community, that is sitting on valuable land, that is in a down low affair with his lover, that is up for sale in Las Vegas. When I pitched and wrote that story, I thought this will be a great opportunity for a solid partnership to build something that just grows over the years. And they thought this is a great opportunity for us to find someone else to take her idea and write it for us. Because the other question that I have is, why would you give a person who has never been a part of television in a real way $100 million for their first project? Why would you invest? And I'm not going to go digging out the clip, but the CEO of Starz said he invested $100 million. They gave Katori Hall $100 million for P-Valley. And why you would give someone who is a first-time creator and filmmaker $100 million to create a property if you didn't have some real control over it? I don't know. So I assume that you had a lot of control over that $100 million that you gave her. I don't know. I'm just assuming. And I'm assuming if you had a lot of control over the $100 million that you gave Katori Hall, you probably had more control over it than she did. And if you had more control over it than she did, then that would probably mean that you own P-Valley. That means that she can't just be like, I'm going to take my show and go over here and do this over here if you decided that you don't want it. And that's what I was trying to avoid with y'all. I was trying to avoid y'all having ownership of something that I created in 2004. And after working with Tyler Perry and seeing how well the concept of ownership and licensing worked for Tyler Perry. Hey, Celicia. Hello, Celicia. Hello, Just King K. Hi, y'all. So Celicia knows shit. Celicia was there when we were doing Soul Kids in Detroit, Soul Kids Cabaret. Monifa was in Soul Kids. All the divas, all R&B divas were in Soul Kids Cabaret. So when you guys see me out here and you see me online coming from the gym with my endorphins going and I'm like ready and whatever. Excuse me. Part of the reason why I allow it to just come like that when I'm in the gym, in the car coming back, is number one, 9 times out of 10, me and my husband been talking about this shit and I'm fired up. But also because I feel like it is a really authentic moment for me. Like sometimes, like for tonight's show, I was like, I'm put on a little lip gloss, I'm gonna put some gel, some edge control. I'm gonna have a whole little, set up for the show and this and that and the third and, think about what I say. Sometimes it's okay to just go. Right. And it's interesting because I'm talking to some really amazing partners Whew, it's some good things happening, y'all. I know it seems like when I come on here, I be talking shit and I be talking about all the stuff that had today, folks be had it, but it's a good stuff added to it. Y'all go, I can't wait to share it. But I was talking to one of our potential partners. We gonna claim it in advance. One of our partners who is a mental health professional. And these are really amazing people who they actually send out when there's a mental health crisis, right? And I was telling her, we have one of them, you have a working Zoom. You know how you be on Zoom. It's your last Zoom of the day. You handle the business and then y'all just be shooting the breeze and talking shit, right? So we were talking and I was like, it's really interesting because I know people probably look at me like, damn, she on here ranting again, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, but I really do feel better. I feel physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally better when I release all of the shit that I'm holding on to in connection to this case, right? First of all, it is just literally, I posted on one of my posts, I feel like I'm face to face with the devil. I'm not lying and I'm not being dramatic. Like, how do you process that someone took your intellectual property from you? They're a multi-billion-dollar company with lots of money everywhere. And the judge has decided that he's going to make you pay them, the people that you filed a lawsuit against, for taking your stuff. He's going to make you pay them $1 million because you shouldn't have never, ever fixed your lips to bring this lawsuit against these people. It is the most impossible thing to compartmentalize that I've ever had to process. And to find that out, number one, I found out that he ruled against us a couple weeks after Christmas and only a few weeks after discovering my sister had brain cancer. And then I find out on my anniversary that he ruled that we're going to have to pay the $1 billion company their legal fees. And then I found out 2 days ago that these people have already started the process of trying to take everything we own because the judge has given them permission to do so. I said, wow. There's nothing for me to do but share my truth. There's nothing for me to do but speak publicly as often as I can about how scary it is to think that the people who violated my copyrights and took my story from me, I now have to give them my house and give them my grandson's college fund. And every time I go do a show, I'm dancing for them. I'm performing for them because I decided to stand up for my rights. And here is the kicker. Here is the thing that's just like, well, damn, Jesus. I'm sorry, y'all. Lord, I'm sorry, Jesus. But he know my heart. Here's the thing that's really, really hard to swallow. We're in appeal. And not only are we in appeal, this appeal has moved faster. Even my lawyer's like, oh my gosh, this appeal has moved so quickly. The Ninth Circuit has been so dope about this appeal and how they've just moved this thing along, right? We're in appeal and we've been selected for oral hearing. And listen, everything online, I ain't never been in no appeal before, but everything online says the appeal circuit, the panel of 3 judges, they don't hear frivolous cases. We're going to oral hearing, meaning all y'all watching right now going to have a chance to watch this thing play out, oral hearing on YouTube, because the appeals court is fair and they believe that justice, should be something that people can learn from and refer to. And that's the reason why I share as much as I do. Because baby, listen, if I didn't share and Shade Room, thank you Shade Room, thank you Baller Alert, thank you Jasmine Brand, thank you Funky Diva, thank you all of these outlets that have been sharing my story, because if I didn't share, none of y'all would know this was going on. It'd be my little old post, me and Shadow Band and whatever. And that is why I share as often as I do, because I've had so many people reaching out to me privately, like, how do I help? What do we do? And we're standing down because at the end of the day, it's an appeal. But that's what's so crazy about it. My lawyer sent them the stuff like, hey, we're an appeal, sir. Like we're set up for oral hearing. And then the way this works, and this is just for educational purposes. This is not a rant. I'm not ranting. I'm educating and I'm informing y'all, because this is some shit. If you find yourself into it, you need to know what to do about it. And most of the reason why I had the problems that I have, and a lot of people have problems they have, is because people want to be so quiet and hush hush about shit. And nobody wants to tell you, like, these are the pitfalls and these are the mistakes and these are the things that I did and that didn't work. And, so as we're going through this process, we're learning that we reached out to the judge and we said, sir, your honor, because that's the other thing. You got to be real careful about how I'm tiptoeing because there's a lot I want to say that I can't say because the judicial system don't play. Although he did say in the ruling that he doesn't care as much about what I'm saying in social media because, it's pretty much irrelevant. Everything I'm saying is public document. But anyway, and trust me, they send everything. They're going to send this video. They're going to get some sound bites and cut together and splice and slap it up, flip it, rub it down and send it on down to the judge. Trust me, they are. But the fact that we're in appeal is it's very hard for me to process that the judge wouldn't just give us the grace of waiting until the appeal happened before he started allowing them to start collecting my assets, because he's made the order. So as it stands, I owe them $600,000. Period. I can cry, I could scream, I could pray, I could be like, why is this happening? But the only thing that's going to change that for me is the Ninth Circuit. The only chance I have of because we ain't got, Nick, look, I ain't got it. How Tasha K said, I ain't got it. So now, we got to start looking into the alternatives. So tell the world I ain't a rich bitch. Not at all. Because the judge has given them license to basically financially ruin us. And he gave it to him because he said I should have never brought this case into the courtroom, basically. He gave it to him because he said it doesn't matter that this might financially ruin me. This is, about basically teaching me a lesson, and ain't nothing I can do about that. There is nothing I can do about the judge feeling like my family's not worth having a chance. My grandson's education does not matter to him. My husband having served this country as a veteran and us worked our ass off to get our home does not matter. He wants to prove the point that I shouldn't have brought this case to his courtroom. I need a sip. Just give me a minute. Because, see, there are those people who, when they get in that space of like, horrible shit happening, that they just want to cry and go into a hole and crawl into a ball. I'm one that want to fight and cuss and go off and knock. Who's there? Bitch, me. That's where I am. But I can't do that because, it just is what it is. But I'm human and I'm infuriated. I'm angry. I'm pissed off. I'm wondering how this is possible. I've asked my lawyers all the questions about how, and ain't shit. There's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we can do except wait for the appeals court and see what they think about our evidence and our facts and see if they believe that we deserve a trial. Because that's all we've been asking for 4 years. We have simply been asking for the opportunity to go before triers of fact. Right? I spent over $50,000 on an expert's report. This expert has been in the business for 30 plus years. Mario Puzo with the Godfather family. He worked with them. I never talked to him outside of, I never talked to him, period. Outside of my attorney saying, well, this is what the expert said and him filing a report and whatever. Never talked to this man. His job is to be an expert, a professional, and to tell and to evaluate it and tell me what it is. And he told us that without a doubt, there's no question, one of the most egregious forms of copyright infringement he's seen. There's no way that Katori Hall wrote this without seeing my show or hearing about it. And they threw it out. They throwed it out. He said, I don't care what the expert said. It does not matter. He threw it out. And I just watched $50,000 just grow wings and just fly out like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. So then I started to ask myself, how is it possible? How is it possible to win? Can a creative win against a multi-billion-dollar corporation with endless supplies of money? They file a motion, I gotta file a motion. They file a brief, I gotta file a brief. They file a this, I gotta file a brief. It's not possible for me to keep up with a company worth billions of dollars. It's not possible. But God. All I have to count on at this point is the Ninth Circuit. All I have to count on is the panel of 3 judges to look at my case and look at this evidence I'm about to show y'all that the judge said wasn't enough. If this is not enough, I don't know what is. And I'm not being sarcastic. The chill that this sends through the copyright world, if having gone and sat down with the CEO, and here's the thing, guys, when I sat down with the CEO of Lionsgate and gave him all my materials, they didn't want me to depose him. So let me give you guys, let me tell you another thing that you may think happens, but it does not happen like this, right? You think when you go to court that you just call your lawyers and you just be like, hey, I want to sue somebody because they did something to me or they whatever. And you feel like you could just file your paperwork and then, you get a court date and you go to court. Nope, that's not what happens. Especially when people are guilty and they got a whole lot of money. They're just going to send you through a bunch of red tape. It's called litigation fatigue. So once we got to LA, right after we got to LA, guys, right after, and trust me, when my case got transferred to the judge that it got transferred to, and this is not about me being disrespectful to Your Honor, but when my case got transferred to the judge, I did the research. People do research. I did my homework. Just like before you get on a Zoom call with somebody, I did my homework. When I did my homework, I said, I'm not going to get out of this the way I think this ain't going to work out for me. I knew from the moment my case, this is going back to that intuition that my grandmother told me I had. I knew from the moment my case went to LA to that judge that I didn't stand a really good chance. I knew because the defendants on my case had another case with this same judge that's substantially similar to my case with 2 women. And he ruled not only against those women in summary judgment, but he also charged those women like a whole bunch of money for legal fees. I said, let this be a lesson. And something paraphrasing in the order. I don't have it in front of me, but the judge, who was the judge on my case, had another case with the same defendants. Some of the same defendants. And he ruled in their favor then and ruled against the 2 women who wrote that project. And I'm not going to talk about it because it ain't my place to talk about it. But I sat there with my mouth open like, ooh, wee. And the way he phrased why he charged them court fees, I knew by me coming in there behind them that he was going to hand me my ass. I knew that. I told my lawyers. I told my husband when we went to the oral hearing, I said, oh, he's going to sock it to me. Oh, this judge is going to let me have it. No, you're just tripping. When I was on Instagram every day, we are in appeal. We definitely in appeal, baby. I got my lawyers are like the best in the country. We definitely in appeal. Thank you for saying that though. When I realized that I had the judge that I had, I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna work. So I wasn't as shocked. All you gotta do is do some research. Baby, ooh, child. I was like, okay. I read about the little baby with the brain bleed, and I read about all those things, and I was like, yeah, he's serious. He ain't no joke. He ain't no joke. And he's, at the end of the day, judges can make decisions. That's why they're judges. And that's why when people say vote, because federal judges are there until they decide they want to leave. And I'm not being disrespectful. It's hard to advocate and to speak the truth. But even the president of the United States said there should be term limits and certain things. But I'm not trying to get all into the weeds of this because, again, I don't want to lose more than I already have because I'm telling the truth about how I feel. We're not, First Amendment rights don't always apply all the way through like that, like they supposed to. But I just kind of knew. That's what I'm going to say. I knew. And then the other reason I knew is because the clerk, so there is a clerk, a judicial clerk who worked for the judge in my case, he clerked for the judge in my case in California. And he works now and has worked for a couple years for the defendants, for the lawyers, the law firm that I'm going up against. So I'm going up against a law firm that has a clerk that worked for my judge, and there's nothing I can do about it. Ain't nothing I can do about it. Luck of the draw. Nothing I can do about it. So when I looked at it and I was like, well, wait a minute. We're in a case with the same law firm that has a clerk that clerked for the judge that's making the decision in my summary judgment case. Oh boy, I'm in trouble. And then I knew I was in trouble when the case first got to LA. The judge, issued a in chambers order. When you file a case, you get all these orders, all the time. So, and this is all public information. This isn't me just making shit up. Like, I'm not gonna risk my case just making stuff up. I might not use the right words because I'm not a lawyer, but it's all public information. So this judge, it's crazy. So he ordered the defendants to refile their motion as a summary judgment. So I knew when he told them to refile their motion to basically get rid of my case, I didn't stand a chance. I said, he literally told the defendants, hey, refile your motion as a motion for summary judgment. And for those of you who don't know, a motion for summary judgment is what he did, and it dismisses your case without you having a chance to go before trial. So I knew my case was going to get dismissed by this judge. I'm not saying I'm a mind reader, but my gut told me, based on all the things I read, that I didn't stand a chance. And everybody around me was like, you're tripping because you got such a good case. And I said, nah, it ain't even really about how good my case is. I just got a feeling that this is not going to work out for me with this particular judge. And it didn't. And the same way I had the feeling that this is not going to work out for me, I have the exact opposite feeling about this appeal. I don't know why. I don't know if this is that spirit of intuition that my grandmother gave me, but I refuse to believe that God has brought me to 3 judges whose job is to go back and look and make sure that the plaintiff, because keep in mind, when you're a plaintiff in a case, the job of the court is to always lean in favor of the plaintiff, which is why I was just so blown away by this judge's decision. But he had his reasons. And I cannot dispute or debate his reasons. I could just ask the Ninth Circuit if you could please look at what he said here and see if that's actually all there is, if I'm actually going to lose everything because of these people. And hopefully they say, no, we're going to let you go to trial. And baby, once we go to trial, we got surprises. Baby, once we get in that courtroom and we get an opportunity to go to trial. So I said, maybe all of this humiliation, maybe the fact that I have to pay $1 billion company who violated my intellectual property rights, almost $1 million. Maybe God is setting the stage for something really great to happen. And at the very least, the win for me is knowing that we have the opportunity to be on YouTube like we are today. Shout out to the YouTube people, except it's the legitimate YouTube, the Ninth Circuit's YouTube. Make sure y'all go on and follow and subscribe to the Ninth Circuit so that you can definitely see this case play out. But I said, no, Lord. I said, we not going to have a sister with brain cancer, have just lost my mama and my daddy 90 days apart a couple years ago, have my mother in love, have lost her husband a few months ago, have all these horrible things that are happening in our families, and on top of that, have to pay a multi-billion-dollar company just because I had the audacity to ask questions about the substantial similarities in this case. There's no way that this is how this ends up for me. There's just no way. I'm not receiving that. So if y'all wonder why I'm so confident, it is because I'm out here trusting God. And here's the thing. If the appeals court says, yeah, we looked at it too and we agree with Judge Wilson and we agree with him, we don't see no similarities here, you don't deserve the right to go to trial, then I have to deal with that. I have to swallow that. I have to move on from that. I have to find it in my heart to be able to continue to create other great intellectual properties. I just won't, I know what I need to do moving forward. But if that happens, the fact that we get an oral hearing, the fact that you actually, and let me tell y'all what they're citing, some of the things they're saying. This is really like the truth. I'm not going to go pull up the document, but this is really the truth. The judge said, well, it's not the same because, and I'm paraphrasing kind of like, right? But this is what he said. He said, oh, it's not the same because the character in your play is gay and the character in P-Valley is non-binary and gender fluid. That is disputable. In my opinion, my attorney's opinion, and everybody else's. It could be that there is a real stark difference between being gay and gender fluid, Your Honor. You're right, could be. But I feel like that should be something that a jury should help us decide. I feel like that is a debatable fact. I feel like that is worthy of a jury helping us determine whether or not gay and non-binary are that different. My character dresses up like a woman. My character is described as a drag queen. And the thing is, when my character was written in 2004, non-binary and gay weren't words around here. This is water. Oh, it's so good. It's got lemon and ice. It's so good. Non-binary and gay, they weren't words in 2004 when I wrote it, 20 years ago. I said, drag queen, transgender, dressed like a woman. But he said, nope, that's not enough. Your character's gay. Their character's non-binary. We said, well, it's in the LGBTQIA family. And he said, no, it doesn't matter. It's not the same. It's not close enough for you to go to jury. And then he said, you only mentioned a casino a couple of times in your play. In P-Valley, they mentioned the casino a lot of times. Well, was the casino in the original play that Katori wrote, or did she get the idea for the casino when she went and met with the people at Lionsgate and Starz and started swapping story ideas? She said she was swapping story ideas with the president after I went and swapped my story ideas with the president. She said that out of her mouth. She didn't say after I went, but I know that it was after I went that she went to the CEO and she met with him and she pitched him a story about strippers. And then they started pitching each other story ideas. Katori said that. The clip is on my YouTube channel. She said it out her own mouth. And we were working sessions. So if you were pitching each other story ideas, could it be that some of those story ideas came from the story ideas that I pitched them before you got there? The other thing they said that wasn't the same or close enough is that my character who comes in carrying the red vintage suitcase, like, okay, you know what? Hold on. You know what? I'm going about this the wrong way. I prepared a whole presentation for you guys. So now that I've kind of given you the backstory, I'm going to this presentation. If you guys are watching on Instagram, come on over to my YouTube channel because I'm about to go ahead and put these slides up big and bold for all the world to see. YouTube, make sure you press like, make sure you press subscribe, make sure you share this live because guess what? Your girl got to pay $1 million to these people and I need you. That's why I'm talking about this because guess what? When I talk about P-Valley, I get a lot of views on my monetized channels. Now that I said that, they're going to try to demonetize my shit so I can't pay them. But y'all should let me stay monetized so I can pay y'all this money. But yeah, I want to share this comparison chart. Okie dokie. All right. Okay, y'all, hold on. So when we put this case into, when we put this case into the appeals circuit, I'm not sorry, when I filed the claim for the case, we also included, in addition to me having a Vimeo, right, you guys, of the 57 plus comparisons that I laid out, I also put together a chart detailing more specifically with photos and images. If you're on my Instagram, it's the chart that I posted a a couple of days ago. But I'm going to read you guys the synopsis for Soul Kittens Cabaret, and I'm going to read you guys a synopsis for P-Valley, right? Soul Kittens Cabaret at the heart of Detroit was one of the hottest spots in town, known for revving things up. And these are they had all of this. At the heart of Detroit was one of the hottest spots in town, known for revving things up in the Motor City. Soul Kittens Cabaret, 5 women fueled it all. Detroit was synonymous with Soul Kittens. Soul Kittens Cabaret was hottest ticket in town. People would fly from everywhere to catch the kittens in action, forging fantasy with fanfare. Was their game, and they played it all so well. But in the midst of the Soul Kittens presenting to the masses all the glamour, glitz, and glad times they were going through, their own individual struggles. Follow them as they take you on a journey into their lives in Soul Kittens Cabaret, as they discover amidst the pains, pleasures, the false promises, what fame really has to offer, from catfights to conspiracy to sisterly bonding and backstabbing, dancing and dealing drugs. The Soul Kittens saw it all, and the Kittens Cabaret was at the heart of it all. It's a look into their world as they discover the real meaning of friends, family, and what you ultimately have to do to forsake them. Now, this is P-Valley's synopsis, which is very similar. Set in an infamous Mississippi shake jaunt called the Pink Pony, Pussy Valley is an intimate window into the unexplored strip club world where the desires of ballers, politicians collide with the dreams of 5 brave women, another group of 5 women. For these women, the line between performance and reality becomes blurred as the drama of their outside lives threaten their onstage personas. Thank you for coming from IG, Cynthia. On the quest for money, power, and respect, each woman must make a choice. For some, it's a step down. For others, it's a step up as the Pink Pony stage constantly shape-shifts between platform and freedom. In this world of smoke and mirrors, who will fall and who will fly? Same sort of synopsis as Soul Kittens Cabaret. Then you have to prove, as we did, that there were substantially similar lead characters. So if you're looking at this on YouTube, as you can see very, very clearly, we have a character coming in with a red suitcase. Both arrive from nowhere with a vintage red suitcase. In both shows, they're beautiful women with the same facial features and skin tones. In both shows, the leads' personalities are both modest, desperate for a job. They're not the best performers, and they sign up to audition, take a shot, and get hired on the spot. Characters holding a secret in both shows. Another pivotal moment is that they both arrive via public transportation. Both characters check into a seedy motel in Soul Kittens and in P-Valley, okay? Both characters see a sign and suddenly audition. Both characters are told to change from their nerdy clothes. Both characters become owner's pet, and both are shy about their bodies and change in the bathroom. Where they do that at? Where are characters that audition for a strip club that are shy about their bodies? It's 11:11. Y'all got to say a prayer. Lord God Jesus, bless me and everybody watching this live. Bless us and keep us and strengthen us. Let us win this case. Lord God, keep our enemies far. Keep our loved ones near. Keep us healed and healthy and happy. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. 11:11. Come on, y'all. I love when I'm on the live and I get that 11:11. Okay. Second similarity, substantial lead character number 2. There is a protagonist. In this case, protagonists both depict a non-binary, gender-fluid person who dresses both masculine and feminine. The personality of both is no-nonsense, but fun-loving approach to running their erotic dance clubs. They have dramatic entrances and exits through beaded curtains. Uncle Clifford enters and exits through beaded curtains, and so does Tata Burlesque. Those are little moments that identify character traits, right? Those are their signature. They both wear long nails. And here's the other part of it. Both of them inherited the club from loved ones, right? So both of them inherited the club from loved ones. They both have been in relationships with down low men. Those are substantial similarities in lead characters. How often do you see a non-binary gay man running running a club with strippers? Doesn't happen. That was a very unique idea. Substantial similarities in lead character number 3. Same feature character, a veteran performer who establishes herself as the queen bee of the performers. Storyline, she has a troubled relationship with her mother. She has trust issues. The story arc is that the main attraction, this person is the main attraction until a newer, prettier mystery girl is hired, and she ultimately becomes less guarded and more vulnerable after life-changing altercation. Look at this, you guys. You can see, hold on, if you're on YouTube, you're able to see this a little bit better. But you guys see how like the Mercedes character is in her face pointing at her and cussing her out and going off on her? That is a scene where the girl got drunk in both Soul Kittens and the girl got drunk in P Valley. And she went in and was pointing in her face and letting her have it. If you look at this other picture here, I'm going to try to move it in really close. That's Cristal playing Bianca. Same thing. She does it. She plays it the same way Bianca does. Goes to the stage. Her and the other two girls get to fight, and it's the same thing. Also, substantial similarity in pivotal characters, right? So another thing that's really interesting in Soul Kittens Cabaret, if you guys are on YouTube, you can see this. We have a character who wears a fedora with a feather, who drinks from a flask and smokes a cigar, and it happens to be the same exact character in Soul Kittens and in P Valley. In Soul Kittens, the character's name is Frank Rudder, and in P Valley, the character's name is Mayor Ruffin. They are both plotting to take over the club. They both carry a flask. They both wear a fedora. They both plot and take over the club the same exact way. There's also, if you're looking on YouTube, you see where the girl is, the one employee is being grabbed by the neck by the ex. That whole scene happened in Soul Kittens Cabaret. One of the characters' ex came in, grabbed a coworker up by her neck and threatened to do harm while the other character was screaming, "Let her go." And of course, the handsome, strapping young bartender who was played by Terrell Carter in Soul Kittens Cabaret, he's played by Ty Lipley, I believe. In P Valley, they have the same story arc. They fall in love with the beautiful young ingenue, and she turns on him. Same thing. In Soul Kittens Cabaret, substantial similarity in dialogue and pace. The owner of Soul Kittens Cabaret comes up behind the girl and says, "What's your name?" She says, Brandy Whitaker. In P Valley, the owner of P Valley comes up behind the new girl after she wants to come in and audition, says, "What's your name?" She says, Autumn Night, in the same cadence. Okay, don't forget, if you're on YouTube, please press like and share. The owner tells the girl that she needs to change her nerdy clothes in both Soul Kittens and in P Valley around the same time when she comes into audition. And of course, the owner directs the girl over to a rack. If you look at this wardrobe rack right here on YouTube, you guys, look at that. Same wire hangers. The character looks the same with almost the same color hair. Instagram, I'm on YouTube showing the pictures. Goes over to the wardrobe rack and asks for a bathroom to change clothes. Same situation. One of the characters gets knocked down and called a faggot in both shows. I could just go on and on and on. You see right here, the girl gets drunk. Look at that, how she's putting her shot to the face and getting drunk. That's the same scene. One character saying you having too much to drink while she takes the drink. SKC has two employees that are standing face to face, making a love connection. Every single one of these scenes, as you look at them, every one of these scenes is represented in both Soul Kittens and P Valley. In SKC, the antagonist, who is a homophobic antagonist who calls the owner a freak in Soul Kittens, also calls the owner a freak in P Valley. It's for the same reason. There's a character in Soul Kittens Cabaret who is saving money to open up a club that is a center for women. In P Valley, Mercedes was saving money to open up a club that is a center for women. In Soul Kittens Cabaret, the OG stands around and tells the young girls that she's about to leave. The same exact thing happens in P Valley. OG comes around and acts and tells the young girl she's going to leave. Mood and setting. Both of them are venues with scantily clad, provocative dressed women. Both of them share a sexy and noir look and feel using colors like lavender, mauve, pink, purple. Both of them share LED, raggedy little stairs with an archway. Both of them have beaded curtains on the left, and both of them have dancers that not only perform striptease, but the club is also used to perform live musical performances and all that. Look at the color palette. The color palette is almost identical. Where you see Little Murder performing on the stage here on YouTube, in this chart, you can look up and you can see Faith Evans performing, and the dancers are pretty much doing pretty much the same doggone moves, right? Okay, hold on. Here's another example. And then in the end of Soul Kittens Cabaret, a female performer that nobody likes becomes an ally, and she actually becomes the owner of the club and gives the ownership to the dancers. Same thing happens in P Valley. A female performer that nobody likes becomes the owner of the club, and she shares ownership with the ladies and the dancers that are there. So at the end of the day, I could go on and on and on. The ex-husband comes in, the wife pleads to let her go. Here's another shot here if you guys are looking on YouTube. What's really crazy is look at this shot on YouTube, y'all. If y'all not on YouTube, I'm sorry, I just got the chart up so people, you can see the chart on my Instagram. But when y'all look at this chart on YouTube, the way Isaiah Washington, who's a friend of mine, by the way, comes into the club. So, right, all at the end of P Valley, the beginning scene of P Valley and Soul Kittens Cabaret both have a light-skinned, nerdy girl coming from the middle of nowhere with a red vintage suitcase to audition for a club, who gets hired on the spot, even though she can't dance, who goes to a rack and picks off some clothes and goes to a bathroom and changes those clothes, right? All of that happens in the first scene in Soul Kittens Cabaret. Then as it progresses, the whole stuff with maybe listen. Anyway, so here we go here with the antagonist, who's the guy who's coming to take over the club. It was played by Isaiah Washington. Y'all remember that scene where Isaiah Washington had on the red hat and the red thing? Y'all can see here on YouTube. And he walked in. Most of the people thought that there was some kind of funeral because they were all dressed in black. Well, those instructions are written in the pilot script that I left with the CEO of Lionsgate, that everybody thought it was a funeral. They were all playing When the Saints Go Marching In, but they were actually going up to a funeral for the club. In Soul Kittens, they were having a funeral for the Pink. And then Isaiah Washington walked in through all of the people with his fedora and leaned in and taunted them. My character did the exact same entrance, leaned in the exact same way, and taunted them the exact same way in Soul Kittens Cabaret. Also, as you see here, there's a scene in P Valley where the club is being under surveillance by this guy in an unmarked car. You'll see here in my script for Curtains, which is what I left with them, it says very clearly Atlanta, Midtown, because of course if it's a play, I can't write all the street directions and I can't have all other stuff because it's on a stage. Because this was a pilot for a dramatic series, it is written as a dramatic series. And it says, Ponce de Leon, red light district, bustling with people. There's a detective, mid-40s, black, undercover, yet crooked, in an unmarked car, watches the action on the street. As you can see here clearly, Andre is sitting here watching what's going on. And this is the pilot script that Lionsgate and Starz had of my material. And the same thing is happening. Another thing they picked out of my material is Soul Kittens has an employee that comes outside of the venue to smoke. Now, mind you, this is not in the play because in my play, I was on stage. So I could not have a car pull up and somebody walk out. I couldn't have all those things happen. But in the pilot script called Curtains, which was the spinoff, the derivative of Soul Kittens Cabaret, it very clearly says an employee pulls up, an employee comes outside the venue to smoke. A dirty cop pulls up, threatens the employee with arrest. There's some funny business going on, the cop says. The cop is invited inside, but the cop declines, citing moral issues. That happens in Soul Kittens Cabaret. Guess where it happens? It happens in P Valley, the exact same way. Girl comes outside to smoke. Matter of fact, it wasn't a girl. It was Uncle Clifford going outside to smoke. Cop pulls up. Says there's some funny stuff going on. Uncle Clifford invites the cop in. The cop says no because morally it's against it. And that's all written in my script that was left with them as well. This is another issue that the judge said was an issue, right? And if you're on Instagram, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm on YouTube, and the YouTube people see all the graphs and whatnot. So the judge said that because my character arrived by cab and their character arrived by bus, that those didn't quantify as two forms of public transportation. I mean, all I can do is say we disagree, and we hope the appeals court disagrees, because he said your character arrived by a cab, their character arrived by the bus. Is not the same. Well, in Soul Kittens Cabaret, in the write-up for the pilot, it says, a lean, wiry, mysterious new girl arrives by cab. She's taken in the sights, drawn to the city. The cab driver warns her about the town, and she ignores him. The same thing happens in P Valley. Remember when Autumn first came and she got off the bus and the bus driver said, "Hey, what you doing, girl? You don't want to go over there?" He warned her it was dangerous. She said, "I don't care." She took her little red vintage suitcase and she went on down, walked to the pink. Same exact thing happened in my Soul Kitten script. Also, mysterious new girl checks into a seedy hotel run by prostitutes. And as you can see here in my script, you see where it's written in the script that these are the directions and this is what happened. And the same thing happens in P Valley. So I could go on and on and on. There's a shirtless male performance in the end. You got a spirit. This was Fantasia. You got the spirit performing as well. You guys, I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. I don't know what to say about why I have to pay them $600 and something thousand. I don't know why my case was not allowed to go to a jury. I don't know why I'm not allowed to have the ownership that I wanted to demand, the same as Tyler went in there demanding. I don't know why these people are doing this to me. But I can tell you this, I'm going to tell the truth about it. And if it shames the devil, oh well, so be it. Because when my grandson looks at me years from now and wonders why I was always online ranting about this, wonders why we don't have the things that we should have in our family because we had to give them to a $1 billion company that took our intellectual property. Because all of those things that I showed y'all were not enough to convince a judge that I deserve to go to trial. Not that I'm not trying to convince a judge that I deserve to win my case, although that is how I feel. I was simply trying to convince the judge that I deserve based on the fact that I left all of these materials with the CEO of the company. And they are substantially similar, that my family deserves a trial. After 4 years and $1 million plus to my attorneys, and they tried to make the judge make me pay a $1.5 million. But he gave me a break and I only had to pay like $650 or something like that. But I still got, my lawyer fees. I have my expert that still has to be paid, even though his report got through. I mean, they threw out the report and I still got to pay $50,000 for it. They threw it out. Like the expert said, no. I agree with her. This is not right. Surely this has been taken from her. And the judge said, nope, I don't care what you say. And he threw it out. And I still have to pay $50,000 for something that is in the trash, literally. We deposed the CEO of Lionsgate because the magistrate court said that she felt like we deserved the opportunity to depose him because based on the information she saw, he had some things that he needed to explain. And he did. He talked. We deposed him. And they redacted all of it, meaning they blacked it out so nobody can see what he said. Nobody can see what Katori said. Nobody can see what Nico said. Nobody can see what any of those people said. Nobody could see what any of those people said because the judge decided they don't need to. And I know what they said. And I know that if a jury hears what they said, we're going to win this case. But I can't tell y'all what they said. Because then they'll sue me again. So I have to just hold it inside and pretend like it's not happening. Or I have to get on here and I have to share and pray that we have an opportunity once we get to this oral hearing in December. And that's the thing. The oral hearing was supposed to, initially they reached out to us for oral hearing for October, which would have been great because maybe they won't have enough time to take my house by October. But the defendants said they were busy in October. So then we said, okay, well, what about November? And then Katori, who for some reason hired a separate lawyer, her lawyer said, oh, I'm busy. I got something I'm doing. I can't do November either. So now they done pushed it back to December because they don't want to go to this oral hearing with this 3 panel of appeals judges. Obviously, they're not making it a priority, which means that they have more time to collect on their judgment because the judge said, I don't care if it's an appeal and I'm not issuing a stay on the collection of the judgment. Y'all can go get your money tomorrow, basically. And I got all of this proof and all of this evidence, and it means nothing to anybody except, hopefully, the Ninth Circuit. Black people don't get justice. It's just us. Unless we luck up on people who understand how difficult it is to fight multi-billion-dollar companies for your intellectual property rights and stand up for it. Now, they've lost almost 1 million subscribers. Their revenue is down. I don't know if their revenue is down 8%, which probably doesn't mean anything to them. And I believe that karma and the universe is more powerful than any of us. And I believe they're going to get what they got coming. But it doesn't make it any easier as an independent producer and an independent creator to deal in the reality that I was not given a fair shot. And not only was I not given a fair shot, typically, people pay their own legal fees. But that is not the case with me. He decided that to teach me a lesson, he was going to make me pay their legal fees with all the evidence that I have. And all I can do is tell y'all about it. And you decide for yourself whether you want to support that company. You decide for yourself whether you want to continue to allow corporate greed to destroy Black families. I work my ass off, not just for myself. I work my ass off for so many people. I've created so many opportunities for people to work. I haven't always made the right decisions. I have not been perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But I've always tried to be fair and decent and a human being that created opportunities for other people. And this is the thanks I get for spending years of my career trying to just improve the lives of people in my community. And because I'm just built strong, God know I got a big back. He gave it to me. Big back. A big, strong husband, a beautiful, wonderful family, people who love me and care about me and support me. I can't imagine if I did not have a lot of those things that I have that helped me through this, how I would be able to make it through this. I'm not even gonna hold y'all up. I have never wanted to have a situation where I wanted to harm myself or, those types of mental health issues. Thank God. I'm so optimistic. I think I'm slightly crazy because I'm just like, there's a reason. It's going to get better. And it works out. It always works out. But I can't imagine being somebody who did not have the strong, supportive husband that I have and the friend circle that I have and the faith that I have. I can't imagine how I would be responding to this horrible, awful, terrible shit that's happening to me. See, I know they want me to break. I know they want me to lose. I know they want my marriage to fall apart. You could take my house. Well, you can't, but if the judge Wilson in LA says you can have it, I guess, ain't shit I can do about it. Because I'm not going to lose my mind over material things that the judge is giving you, that you're taking from me. I didn't lose my mind when I discovered that you gave Pretoria Hall $100 million for my idea. Because I know how God works. I know how our ancestors work. And I know you're going to get back 150-fold what you did to me, CEO and Lionsgate and Starz and Katori. It's not going to work for you, sis. It's not going to work. Katori, come here. Lean in, sis. Lean in and let me say it to you in my chest so you can hear it. It's not going to work, sis. The Down in the Valley project didn't work. P-Valley is not going to work. It's over. It's just a matter of time. You might get a season or 2 or whatever, but it's over. It's done. God is not going to let you do this to my family and let that shit thrive. It's coming down. It ain't got shit to do with me. Karma, the universe. Such good to have family. Yes, and therapy. Stole from you, and the judge gave you a $600 bill on top of it. Yep. This is America. That is why we have to vote. Because I have a feeling. And what's really crazy is it's not just me. I mean, all along the way, people told me who my judge was. They said, oh, you got, oh. So I was carrying that for some years, y'all. I was carrying the reality that I wasn't going to get past this guy. Period. He ain't no joke. Ronald Reagan put him in there. He knew what he was doing. He's no joke. And I got to go back to him. I sure do. Once they reverse it and remand it, I got to go back to him. So ain't no telling what happens here. But I'm not going to let it break me. I'm not going to let it destroy me. Y'all going to see me ranting in the car when I be really thinking about this shit. And I think that's really been good for my mental wellness and my mental health. Just being able to talk about it and to make sure that one or two people knows the truth about Starz, Lionsgate, and Katori Hall. Somebody said, take your home. Yeah, $600,000 is what I have to pay them for now until we get to appeals court. And they're not willing to wait until December when we get the appeals decision. They're not willing to wait. They want their money now because I should have never had the audacity to question them about why they took my stuff. It feels like slavery. It does. It feels like slavery. It feels like racism. It feels like hate. Because why? I got 57 substantially similar scenes and characters. The play that I wrote is about a non-binary, gender fluid person who owns a club he inherited from a loved one who's in a down low relationship. The club sits on valuable land and is up for a casino grab. And a new girl who comes out of nowhere and wreaks havoc with a red vintage suitcase. And an old vintage person that's been in there for a while that's going to open up a spot for women. And it gets saved in the end by a person nobody likes. It's the same beginning, the same middle, the same end. And I wrote that story all by myself. And I copyrighted it 20 years ago in 2004. And y'all paid Katori $100 million to steal it from me. Or so I believe and feel. And she did it. So I believe and feel, allegedly. And I can't even really talk about it like I want to talk about it because I don't have First Amendment rights when it comes to court and speaking the truth about how I feel about a judge giving somebody license to take my home, to take my royalties, to take our cars, to take all of our shit because we asked about a case as clear as the one we have. Not pay your own legal fees. All right, Q&A. And then we're going to get up out of here. Q&A. Thank you, Lauren, for reeling me in. And thank y'all for hanging out with me on this live. If you see that little box with brownstone, let me do some housekeeping before I get into these questions and shift the room. You guys, please share this with as many people as you can. Please let the world know what's happening here. Because if all these facts and all this information I have is not enough to get me to a jury and not enough to prevent them from taking everything that my family has worked for. My husband served this country as a Marine. And that man gave them people license to take our shit. And the only hope we have is the panel of 3 judges in the Ninth Circuit to overturn this decision. I hope I get justice too. Brownstone. Let me get these dates real quick. August 31st in Las Vegas. And then somebody was like, I don't know if you should tell them where you're working because they gonna show up at what they gonna do. Like, I gotta promote my shit, right? I might be performing on stage for free. But I'm going to perform nonetheless. Las Vegas, August 31st. Chicago, September 13th. Atlanta, September 14th. We'll see you ATL Stonecrest. Greensboro, October 5th. Baltimore, October 6th. Augusta, October 18th. And Baton Rouge on December 6th. So come and see us perform. You guys, we are busting our ass. It's so hard to pretend like everything is all good. I'm not pretending like everything is all good. Things are all good. Y'all heard the praise report about my sister and whatever, but I'm just facing a lot of challenges. A lot of good things are happening. We are also in the process of filming. Oh, the other reason why I wanted to get a lot of this out, y'all, is because we start shooting new in-studio episodes of She Speaks Live. New in-studio episodes of She Speaks Live. We got some dope guests. Oh my God, I'm so excited. We got some dope guests coming in. You guys, our first episode airs September 1st on WIRFTV.com. You guys, I've been busting my ass trying to get this Worth machine going. And I don't know what the future holds for it. You know, they probably gonna try to take that too. They just, you know, they like, you know, fuck it, like, you know, corporate greed and, you know, so, you know, we just got to keep going. We just got to keep going. Let me share this with y'all real quick. My sister, Lisa, my soror, Lisa Price, has a company called Lisa's Kitchen. This is sea jelly, you guys. I don't know if y'all can see that up there. This is sea jelly. It is petroleum-free body moisturizer, and it smells like heaven. I will look up and I will have a package, a love offering from our beautiful sister, Lisa Price, in the mail. Thank you, Lisa. I haven't said thank you enough. It's wonderful when people just send you a note or send you a little gift to just let you know they're thinking about you and cheering you on and stuff. You guys, I know this is a long live. I had a lot that I wanted to share. Please, please, please. Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Lauren. Does anybody have any questions? Are you singing? Hold on. Could the NAACP be of assistance? Yes. You know what could help me the most right now is just people talking about it, because that's the problem. Like, because I'm a Black woman and I don't have like all this money and I'm not like a A-lister or whatever, like none of the big platforms are talking about it, you know. I thank God for the people on YouTube. Thank you, Funky Diva. Thank you, Be High. Thank you, Rashawn Ali, Cool Soror. Shout out to Rashawn Ali and Cool Soror. Thank you for having me come on. All y'all who, Frank Ski and Nina, they were like some of the first. I was on there crying and everything. Thank you to those people who have been riding with me for these 4 years through this process. Like I said, you guys, I never thought in a million years that I would have to pay Lionsgate, Starz, and Katori Hall like almost $1 million in legal fees. I really did not. Our case, as far as I'm concerned, is a slam dunk. There's no reason except the judge don't like me or my case. That's how I feel, because he wanted to treat me a lesson, show me a lesson. Because you're supposed to have the opportunity to go before trial when you request it, and it ain't nothing we could do except go to the Ninth Circuit. But do your research. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's kind of like not my thing, but he's had things. He said during the oral hearing, I will say this, he did say this, and it's in the transcript. He said that the Ninth Circuit doesn't always agree with him. He looked me in my face and said that at the one hearing we had. He said the Ninth Circuit does not always agree with him. And I hope he's right. No disrespect, sir, but my family don't got it. That's it. And that's all. So any good bankruptcy attorneys out there? What else? Question. So do you want more exposure for your story? I want more exposure for my story. Yes, get it. Absolutely. If it needs to be on the Shade Room, it's sad. No, Shade Room hooked me up. Shade Room, Baller Alert, all those places digitally, they have shown me love. So I can't even say they have not. Does anybody else have any other questions? Boulay was amazing. Congratulations to all the new officers in Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I'm going to get back 100-fold. I receive and believe that in Jesus' mighty name. Any other questions in the Q&A queue? Let me see. Be sure to experience joy. Yes, indeed. Can you switch judges? No, I can't. I sure can't. Cannot do it. That's why y'all got to vote. When I say voting matters and voting is important, I mean that from my whole soul. Because at the end of the day, here's the thing about federal judges. Oh, is my nose running? Here's the thing about federal judges, guys. They're lifetime appointments. I think my judge is, no disrespect, but it's lifetime appointments. He's mature. He's been there for a while. I think it's like 83 or something like that. So it's, yeah, you know, they stay there as long as they want to. They stay there, and there's nothing we can do. Nothing. You can't say, hey, I think I should get another judge. Nope. You just got to stick with what you got and go to the appeals court and hope that the appeals court, and it's crazy. I'm like, how did I go all the way from LA? How did I get that? But, you know, how did I get to LA? But, I mean, Atlanta to LA, but I'm here. Needless to say, hi, buddy. Hi, big boy. It's time for me to get off of here. It's time for me to come up here and say hi. Can y'all see him? After hearing you, there's no question that the people stole your script. You are gifted and will decree that you will have the victory. Amen. I hope you get justice. Thank you so much. Me too. Could the NAACP be of assistance? Absolutely. I'm 100%. Somebody said, besides the money aspect, what do you think is the biggest thing holding your case back, if you don't mind me asking? Besides the money aspect, what is the biggest thing holding my case back? The judge said that there are no similarities, so my case shouldn't go to a jury. He said that he doesn't see enough similarities to warrant me going to a jury. That's what's holding my case back. We gave him all the evidence. My lawyers, every lawyer that's seen it, everybody that's seen it, all of y'all that's seen it, everybody, but it doesn't matter. What matters is the judge makes the decision. It's his choice, and he doesn't have to listen to what anybody says, except the appeals court, which is where we are. So you guys that are asking, I appreciate y'all for asking, and I appreciate you for wondering if there's another way, but there is no other way except for the appeals court. That is the only way that my husband and my family will not have to pay Starz, Lionsgate, and Katori Hall almost $1 million. That is the only way we get a chance to go to trial, is if the appeals court sees the similarities that the judge did not. And the appeals court is a panel of 3 judges. No, somebody asked me again, can you switch judges? You cannot switch judges. What advice would you give to me? I want to pitch a movie. Don't pitch your movie. That's the advice I would give you. I'm no shade. I don't care what nobody tells you. I don't care if Ava DuVernay come up here and say, no, you should pitch it. In fact, I heard Ava DuVernay say just quite the opposite. She said, make your project, make your movie, make your film, make it, make it, make it. Get your friends together, make your movie, and license your movie. Don't sell it. Own your movie. Somebody, Yvette says, do the judges have checks and balances? The checks and the balances for the judges is the Ninth Circuit or the Supreme Court. And I mean, I probably had the same look at the Supreme Court. So my best bet at this point is the Ninth Circuit. The Ninth Circuit Court has been overturning a lot of these summary judgment dismissals. See, summary judgment means you just don't get to trials. They do these things called rocket dockets, which basically means when your case comes in, if the judge feels like it's just not worth it, he's going to look at it and throw it out, basically. And that's what happened with my case, except it took 4 years for that to happen. And they spent $1.5 million. We spent over $1 million, about $1.2 million, something like that. And now I got to pay everybody's legal fees. I don't just have to pay theirs, I have to pay my own. So there's no way that I could pay millions of dollars in legal fees. So yeah, all those people who want to laugh and be like, ha ha, that's what you get. Nah. We get the valley back. We get to go back down in the valley. You sure do. You get the valley back. You sure do. Starz, P-Valley, Lionsgate, Katori Hall have destroyed a black family so far. They've been successful at financially destroying us because I believe that they took my intellectual property and I spoke about it. And how dare you speak about it? You know, I remember in Roots where they kept trying to make him say Kunta Kinte and Toby, or he kept saying Kunta Kinte, and they kept trying to make him say Toby, and he said, that's how I feel. I feel like I have been lashed and thrashed and treated poorly by the judicial system, and I hope that the appeals court changes that. It's so many of y'all in here. I appreciate you guys so much. 83 years old is more than mature. Well, I mean, you know, judges can stay for as long as they want to. As long as he's there and he's doing what he's doing, he's doing what he's doing. he's my judge, and I got to respect that. And I mean no disrespect to the judge at all. I'm just reading what he ruled, which is that I have to pay them legal fees, and he doesn't see any similarities. And my expert report is thrown out, and he's decided that gay and non-binary are different. Ain't nothing I can say about that. I can cry. It ain't gonna do no good. I could scream. It ain't gonna do no good. My husband was so pissed off. I said, babe, we can't do nothing. Right? I can't. What puts it in perspective for me is that I was reading some of his cases, and there's a case of a 5-year-old who had a brain bleed, and his family was trying to they were being deported by ICE, and the judge in my case would not issue a stay for the 5-year-old who had the brain bleed, and the appeals court did. So I say if this family can endure the struggle that they had to endure with a 5-year-old suffering from a brain bleed that that the judge denied a stay on, of course he's going to deny a stay on the collection of my legal fees. That's how I felt. That's just how I felt. T.S. Madison, what'd you say about T.S. Madison? I see. Why do you think some of the successful African Americans have not spoken up on your behalf more loudly? Because they scared. Come on. Me and my husband had that conversation. People ain't talking up and speaking up for me because why would you risk? I mean, think about it. Like, I must be crazy to actually have thought that the judicial system was going to let me go to trial. I didn't know. Shit. Babe, if you had known we would be doing where we are today, would you have still done it? No way. Really?
Where we are today?
Oh, well, in the appeals, yes. Oh, right. After the appeal, it'd be a different conversation. Okay, right. Yeah, damn. You know, they whooped my ass. And I'm going to tell you this. If I did not file my appeal, allegedly, I'm not saying this actually happened, but allegedly, if I did not file my appeal, they wouldn't be suing me for legal fees. I think, perhaps, maybe I could have avoided the legal fees if I had just given up my right to appeal. Maybe. Allegedly. So really, I brought these legal fees on myself because of how much I believed in my case. Because I could have said, okay, take the summary judgment, then I'll throw my case out the window and I'll just go and pay my lawyers $1.5 million and not pay you another $700. But I decided I'm going to take my chances with the appeals court. And here I am. So, all right, guys, this has been a 2-hour and 30-minute live. If any more questions, right, Lauren, you're right. I can't be rude. Thank you guys for all the good luck. We are going to win. We are confident. Make some room in your house for me and my family. You can't switch judges, but God can switch. Oh, Dep, amen. Amen. I need y'all to pray. Have you spoken to Roland Martin about what's going on? Yeah, me and Roland spoke briefly at the Urban One Honors. And he asked me about my case. I've got a lot of support. Shout out to Divine Nine that's standing by and ready. You know what I mean? Right now, all we can do is wait for the appeals court. Someone says this judge didn't even look at the expert report. I don't know. He wasn't. The judge was not going to give us discovery. You guys, he denied us discovery initially, which discovery sometimes can take up to a year, and then he changed his mind and gave us a few weeks of discovery, which really wasn't enough time to do anything, which is why we decided to get an expert's report. So he just didn't, he kind of had his mind made up, in my opinion, because like I said, he told the defendants to file the summary judgment. And they did, and he granted it to them. They're trying to break your spirit. You strong. We feel you through this wall. You Michael Jackson approved. Remember, protected. Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Victor says, stay encouraged. Be patient. It's going to turn around for you. I believe that. And there is no glory in me holding this in and not sharing it. Oh, T.S. Madison is someone has supported me. I'm sorry. Thank you, LB Productions. Yes, absolutely. So T.S. Madison, Funky Geneva, and Miss Sophia all had a wonderful moment where, they said clearly they see it. Like everybody sees it. We all see it. But we Black. And we're poor compared to these billion-dollar corporations. And our word just doesn't mean as much until we understand the power we have collectively. So I love you guys. I really, really appreciate y'all for allowing me to share the good news about my sister, share the bad news about my case, share the good news about the fact. Remember, guys, we are going up for oral hearing in December. Oral hearings basically means that we are going to have a panel of 3 appeals court judges, and they do not allow you to bring your case to oral hearing if it is frivolous. And we've also appealed the decision on the lawyer fees and the legal fees. So if you have your Lionsgate subscription, they just became richer because they're really trying to take all our money. But guess what? We're going to win in the end. And when we do, we having a party right here on YouTube. Okay. Share, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hi, George McKinney. It's so good to see you. And to answer, someone said, why do you think the celebrities, again, are not supporting you? I get a ton of support from my celebrity friends who are not supporting me publicly, and they don't have to. What they're doing is calling to make sure I'm okay, and they let me know that when I'm ready to push go, they're going to put their shirts on and be standing outside Lionsgate Studios out here in Douglasville with me, because we damn sure going to make sure that we out there, no Roger, no run, no rent. Get ready. Oh, get ready, because we finna mobilize if this thing does not go the way that God has written it to go. All right. So anyway, love you guys. Please continue to lift us in prayer. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for this long ass live. Make sure you go over to the YouTube channel if you're on Instagram and subscribe, like, and share. Y'all have a good night. Spread the good word. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We're going to oral argument in December and watch it on YouTube live. All right. Peace and have a great night.